but a toy. For the rain, it raineth every day, with a high ho, the wind and the rain, and the rain, it raineth every day.
Hello, everybody. Welcome back to the Wheel of Shakespeare Challenge, second one for the year 2023. We're going to be performing randomly selected Shakespeare monologues and scenes for you. I've got myself, Sheila, and Henry here. We just had Ted, and looks like we lost him. I hope he's not having connectivity issues, or if he is, that he'll be back soon. And some of the other people we were expecting will show up, but we have a kind of a small group with us today. But I'm still looking forward to giving you delving into some of the best works of the bard. So based on the randomly selected order, I'm going to do the first monologue today, and I'm trying to get the here it is. So here's the wheel. We'll spin to see what. So I am going to be doing, and Henry, you're on deck. You're going to go after me after I perform. You're not. Yeah. Not like it's anything obscure to start with. Okay. Sorry, I'm having trouble finding it all of a sudden. Could practically go on memory with this, but just in case. Okay, here. To be or not to be? That is the question. But it is nobler in the mind to suffer the slings and arrows of outrageous fortune, to take arms against the sea of troubles, and opposing into them, to die, to sleep no more. And by a sleep to say we end the heartache and the thousand natural shocks that flesh is heir to. 'Tis a consummation devoutly to be wished. To die, to sleep, perchance to dream. Aye, there's the rub. For in that sleep of death, what dreams may come when we have shuffled off this mortal coil must give us pause. There's the respect that makes calamity of so long life. But who would bear the whips and scorns of time, the oppressor's wrong, the proud man's contumely, the pangs of despised love, the law's delay, the insolence of office, and the spurns that patient merit of the unworthy takes, when he himself might his quietus make with a bare bodkin? Who would fardels bear to grunt and sweat under a weary life, but the dread of something after death? The undiscovered country from whose bourne no traveler returns puzzles the will, and makes us rather bear those ills we have than fly to others that we know not of. Thus, conscience does make cowards of us all. Thus, the native hue of resolution is sicklied o'er the pale cast of thought, and enterprises of great pith and moment. In this regard, their currents turn awry and lose the name of action. Okay, great. So Ted made it back, and he is up next. Ted will go, then Sheila. Oh, and I'm sorry. Sorry, I got that wrong. Henry is next. Henry, then Ted, then Sheila. So Henry is going to do. Earl of Richmond his speech to the troops before the Battle of Bosworth begins. More than I have said. Act 5, Scene 3. You ready to go?
Nearly.
Okay.
I'm just looking at the speech. Do you know where it comes? Is it some way down?
Not exactly. I'm not sure, to tell you the truth. I think somewhere toward the middle.
Got it. More than I have said.
Okay, so whenever you're ready.
Yeah. More than I have said, loving countrymen, the leisure and enforcement of the time forbids to dwell upon. Yet remember this, God and our good cause fight upon our side. The prayers of holy saints and wronged souls, like high-reared bullocks, stand before our faces. Richard, except those whom we fight against, had rather have us win than him they follow. For what is he they follow? Truly, gentlemen, a bloody tyrant and a homicide. One raised in blood and one in blood established. One that made means to come by what he hath, and slaughtered those that were the means to help him. A base, foul stone, made precious by the foil of England's chair, where he is falsely set. One that hath ever been God's enemy. Then, if you fight against God's enemy, God will in justice ward you as his soldiers. If you do sweat to put a tyrant down, you sleep in peace, the tyrant being slain. If you do fight against your country's foes, your country's fat shall pay your pains the higher. If you do fight in safeguard of your wives shall welcome home the conquerors. If you do free your children from the sword, your children's children quit it in your age. Then, in the name of God and all those rights, advance your standards, draw your willing swords. For me, the ransom of my bold attempt shall be this cold corpse on the earth's cold face. But if I thrive, the gain of my attempt, the least of you shall share this part thereof. Sound drums and trumpets boldly and cheerfully. God and St. George, Richmond and victory!
All right. A lot of energy there. That was awesome. Okay, so Ted is up next and Sheila is on deck. So Ted is going to do. Too many lists in Carolina. This is one that we added. I added to Wheel relatively recently. Act 2, Scene 2. I believe the context is praising Phidias, soon to be Coriolanus. Begins, I shall lack voice.
Okay.
Okay, so whenever.
I shall lack voice. The deeds of Coriolanus should not be uttered feebly. It is held that valor is the chiefest virtue, and most dignifies the haver. If it be, the man I speak of cannot in the world be singly counterpoised. At 16 years, when Tarquin made a head for Rome, he fought beyond the mark of others. Our then dictator, whom with all praise I point at, saw him fight, when with his Amazonian chin he drove the bristled lips before him. Be bestrid, an oppressed Roman, and in the consul's view slew 3 opposers. Tarquin's self he met, and struck him on his knee. In that day's feasts, when he might act the woman in the scene, he proved the best man in the field, and for his meed was brow bound with the oak. His pupil age man entered thus. He waxed like a sea, and in the brunt of 17 battles since, he lurched all swords of the garland. For this last, before and in Corioli, let me say, I cannot speak him home. He stopped the flyers, and by his rare example made the coward turn terror into sport. As weeds before a vessel under sail, so men obeyed and fell below his stem. His sword death's stamp, where it did mark, it took. From face to foot, he was a thing of blood, whose every motion was timed with dying cries. Alone he entered the mortal gate of the city, which he painted with shunless destiny. Aidless came off, and with a sudden reinforcement struck Corioli like a planet. Now all's his, when, by and by, the din of war gan pierce his ready sense. Then straight his doubled spirit re-quickened what in flesh was fatigate, and to the battle came he, where he did run reeking o'er the lives of men, as if 'twere a perpetual spoil, until we called both field and city ours. He never stood to ease his breast with panting. Scene.
Okay, very nice. We had mentioned before we went live that Ted, we haven't seen you in a while, but we're glad to have you back, and that was an excellent performance to reintroduce yourself to the group and to our viewers. Thank you. Okay, so Sheila will do our last monologue before we spin for scenes, and she is going to do. Camera. The first might be hard to find. It's a very long first scene. I remember. Camera begins not so, my lord.
It is a long scene. I am. At least she has entered. Let me see where she goes. Okay. Oh, I found her. All right.
Okay, so great. So whenever you're ready, go.
Not so, my lord. The gods of Rome forfend I should be author to dishonor you. But on mine honor dare I undertake, for good Lord Titus' innocence in all, whose fury not dissembled speaks his griefs. Then, at my suit, look graciously on him. Lose not so noble a friend on vain suppose, nor with sour looks afflict his gentle heart. Be won at last. Dissemble all your griefs and discontents. You are but newly planted in your throne. Let them, the people and patricians too, upon a just survey, take Titus' part, and so supplant you for ingratitude, which Rome reputes to be a heinous sin. Yield all entreats, and then let me alone. I'll find a day to massacre them all and raise their faction and their family. The cruel father and his traitorous sons, to whom I sued for my dear son's life, and make them know what 'tis to let a queen kneel in the streets and beg for grace in vain. Come, come, sweet emperor, come, Andronicus, take up this good old man and cheer the heart that dies in tempest of thy angry frown. Scene.
Okay, great. Good job, everybody, today with the monologues. Let's get a couple scenes for the four of us. So let's have. Okay, Bolingbroke's deathbed scene, Prince Henry and King Henry, those two, and we've done that a couple times, but it's been a while. I took it out of retirement recently. Actually, there's I'm gonna skip this one. We have four of us. That'll be an odd number. That'll be an extra. So let's get two player scenes for the four of us. I keep getting the three player scenes. Okay, King John, Act 3, Scene 4, the Dauphin, Louis the Dauphin, and Cardinal Pandolf. So the four roles are King Henry IV, the son Prince Hal, the Bolingbroke deathbed scene, and then the Dauphin and Cardinal Pandolf in King John Act 3, Scene 4. So let's see. Sheila gets the first choice. What would you like to be?
I'm trying to find 3-4. I'm looking at it. I know I want one of those roles, but I'm not seeing the speeches you're talking about.
It's a let's see.
Is it Louis and Pandolf? Is that it?
Yeah, I think so. Yeah, Louis the Dauphin.
Oh, okay. I'm sorry. I will take Pandolf.
Okay, so you'll be Cardinal Pandolf. Ted, what would you like?
I'll do Louis in that scene with Sheila.
Okay, so the two of you will do that. Henry, you want to be the father or the son in the other one?
I'll do the father.
Okay, so I'll be the son then. So we'll start with the two of us doing
Henry IV, Part 2.
Yeah.
Scene 4.5. Is this the one that's got
I wish was father to that thought, Harry.
so it starts with Prince Henry alone. Why
I-
doth the crown lie upon this pillow? Is that right?
I
Oh,
think
no.
so. Actually, I've lost the scene.
No, it must be later. Oh. Prince Henry, I never thought to hear you speak again.
Yeah.
Yeah, that must be it, yeah. So do you know where,
Give me a
do you know
second.
what the scene is? Is
This is where he took the crown, but where he takes the crown, thinking he's dead, and
oh, did he? Don't know this play.
yeah.
So Henry the Fourth is on his deathbed, is he?
Yes. Let's see, where are we going to start this from?
Okay.
Okay, yeah, it'll start with "I never thought to hear you speak again," because you're pissed off. I couldn't wait for you to die to take your crown.
Yeah.
So we'll take it from my line that "I never thought to hear you speak again." Are you got it? Got that one?
Yeah. Yeah.
Okay. I never thought to hear you speak again.
Thy wish was father, Harry, to that thought. I stay too long by thee, I weary thee. Dost thou so hunger for mine empty chair that thou wilt needs invest thee with mine honours before thy hour be ripe? Oh, foolish youth! Thou seekest the greatness that will overwhelm thee. Stay but a little, for my cloud of dignity is held from falling with so weak a wind that I will quickly drop. My day is dim. Thou hast stolen that which after some few hours were thine without offence, and at my death thou hast sealed up my expectation. Thy life did manifest thou lovest me not, and thou wilt have me die assured of it. Thou hidest 1,000 daggers in thy thoughts, which thou hast whetted on thy stony heart to stab at half an hour of my life. What, canst thou not forbear me half an hour? Then get thee gone, and dig my grave thyself, and bid the merry bells ring to thine ear that thou art crowned, not that I am dead. Let all the tears that should be due my hearse be drops of balm to sanctify thy head. Only compound me with forgotten dust, give that which gave thee life unto the worms. Pluck down my offices, break my decrees, for now a time is come to mock at form. Harry the Fifth is crowned. Up, vanity! Down, royal state! All you sage counsellors hence, and to the English court assemble now from every region apes of idleness. Now, neighbour confines, purge you of your scum. Have you a ruffian that will swear, drink, dance, revel the night, rob, murder, and commit the oldest sins, the newest kinds of ways? Be happy. He will trouble you no more. England shall double gild his treble guilt. England shall give him office, honour, might. For the fifth Harry from curbed license plucks the muzzle of restraint, and the wild dog shall flesh his tooth on every innocent. Oh, my poor kingdom, sick with civil blows! When that my care could not withhold thy riots, what wilt thou do when riot is thy care? Oh, thou wilt be a wilderness again, peopled with wolves, thy old inhabitants.
Oh, pardon me, my liege, but for my tears the moist impediments unto my speech I had forestalled this dear and deep rebuke, ere you had with grief had spoken. I had heard the course of it so far. There is your crown, and he that wears the crown immortally, long guard it yours. If I affect it more than as your honor and as your renown, let me no more from this obedience rise, which my most inward, true, and duteous spirit teacheth. This prostrate and exterior bending, God witness with me, when here I came in and found no course of breath within your majesty. How cold it struck my heart. If I do feign, oh, let me in my present wildness die and never live to show the incredulous world the noble change that I have purposed. Coming to look on you, thinking you dead, and yet almost, my liege, to think you were, I spake unto this crown as having sense and thus upbraided it. The care on thee depending hath fed upon the body of my father. Therefore, thou best of gold art worst of gold. Other, less fine and carat, is more precious, preserving life and medicine potable. But thou, most fine, most honored, most renowned, hast eat thy bearer up. Thus, my most royal liege, accursing it, I put it on my head to try with it, as with an enemy that had before my face murdered my father. The quarrel of a true interior, but if it did infect my blood with joy, or swell my thoughts to any strain of pride, if any rebel or vain spirit of mine did the least affection of a welcome give entertainment to the might of it, let God forever keep it from my head, and make me as the poorest vassal is that doth with awe and terror kneel to it.
Oh, my son, God put it in thy mind to take it hence, that thou mightst win the more thy father's love, pleading so wisely in excuse of it. Come hither, Harry, sit thou by my bed, and hear, I think, the very latest counsel that I shall ever breathe. God knows, my son, by what bypaths and indirect crooked ways I met this crown, and I myself know well how troublesome it sat upon my head. To thee it shall descend with bitter quiet, better opinion, better confirmation. For all the soil of the achievement goes with me into the earth. It seemed in me but as an honour snatched with boisterous hand, and I had many living to upbraid my gain of it by their assistances, which daily grew to quarrel and to bloodshed, wounding supposed peace. All these bold fears thou seest with peril I have answered, and all my reign hath been but as a scene acting that argument. And now my death changes the mode, for what in me was purchased falls upon thee in a more fairer sort. So thou the garland wearest successively. Yet though thou standst more sure than I could do, thou art not firm enough, since griefs are green, and all my friends, which thou must make thy friends, have but their stings and teeth newly ta'en out. By whose fell working I was first advanced, and by whose power I might well lodge a fear to be again displaced, which to avoid I cut them off, and had a purpose now to lead out many to the Holy Land, lest rest and lying still might make them look too near and to my state. Therefore, my Harry, be it thy course to busy giddy minds with foreign quarrels, that action, hence borne out, may waste the memory of the former days. More would I, but our lungs are wasted so that strength of speech is utterly denied me. How I came by the crown, oh God forgive. and grant it may with thee in true peace live.
My gracious liege, you won it, wore it, kept it, gave it me. Then plain and right must my possession be, which I, with more than with a common pain, against all the world, will rightfully maintain. Okay.
Thank you, John.
That one. Okay, so now we have Shelia and Shelia is the Dauphin, right? Or
Other way around.
you're panned off. Okay.
Yes. Yes, Ted's the young upstart, not me.
So we're starting at there's nothing in this world can make me joy, right?
That sounds right.
Okay, so
Okay.
whenever the two of you are ready.
There's nothing in this world can make me joy. Life is as tedious as twice a told tale, vexing the dull ear of a drowsy man. And bitter shame hath spoiled the sweet world's taste, that it yields naught but shame and bitterness.
Before the curing of a strong disease, even in the instant of repair and health, the fit is strongest. Evils that take leave on their departure most of all show evil. What have you lost by losing of this day?
All days of glory, joy, and happiness.
If you had one, it certainly you had. No. When fortune means to men most good, she looks upon them with a threatening eye. 'Tis strange to think how much King John hath lost in this which he accounts so clearly won. Are not you grieved that Arthur is his prisoner?
As heartily as he is glad he hath him.
Your mind is all as youthful as your blood. Now hear me speak with a prophetic spirit. For even the breath of what I mean to speak shall blow each dust, each straw, each little rub out of the path which shall directly lead thy foot to England's throne. Therefore mark, John hath seized Arthur, and it cannot be that, whiles warm life plays in that infant's veins, the misplaced John should entertain an hour, 1 minute, nay, one quiet breath of rest. A scepter snatched with an unruly hand must be as boisterously maintained as gained, and he that stands upon a slippery place makes nice of no vile hold to stay him up. That John may stand, then Arthur needs must fall. So be it, for it cannot be but so.
But what shall I gain by young Arthur's fall?
You in the right of Lady Blanche, your wife, may then make all the claim that Arthur did.
And lose it, life and all, as Arthur did.
How green you are and fresh in this old world. John lays you plots. The times conspire with you, for he that steeps his safety in true blood shall find but bloody safety and untrue. This act so evilly born shall cool the hearts of all his people, and freeze up their zeal, that none so small advantage shall step forth to check his reign, but they will cherish it. No natural exhalation in the sky, no scope of nature, no distempered day, no common wind, no customed event, but they will pluck away his natural cause and call them meteors, prodigies, and signs, abortives, presages, and tongues of heaven, plainly denouncing vengeance upon John.
Maybe he will not touch young Arthur's life, but hold himself safe in his imprisonment.
Oh, sir, when he shall hear of your approach, if that young Arthur be not gone already, even at that news he dies. And then the hearts of all his people shall revolt from him and kiss the lips of unacquainted change and pick strong matters of revolt and wrath out of the bloody finger ends of John. Methinks I see this Hurley all on foot. And oh, what better matter breeds for you than I have named. The bastard Falconbridge is now in England, ransacking the church, offending charity. If but a dozen French were there in arms, they would be as a call to train 10,000 English to their side, or as a little snow tumbled about, anon becomes a mountain. Oh, noble Dauphin, go with me to the king. 'Tis wonderful what may be wrought out of their discontent, now that their souls are top full of offense. For England go, I will wet on the king.
Strong reasons make strong actions. Let us go. If you say aye, the king will not say no.
Okay, very good. Okay, so great performances today, everybody. It was a pleasure working with y'all as always, and look forward to seeing you guys all same time next week for the Wheel of Shakespeare Challenge. Everybody else, we'll see you next week. Bye now.
Thank you.